Hello and welcome to our 11th edition of Caltex Video Magazine. In this edition, we'll see Caltex Chairman David Law-Smith leading a delegation to Thailand and hear Human Resource Vice President Steve Nichols talking about the Organizational Effectiveness Study. Additionally, we will show you an important story on the issue of the year 2000 and bring you an update on Caltex's involvement in the Asian Games of 1998. This edition concludes with Chief Financial Officer Mac McCauley providing an in-depth look at Caltex and where we stand in today's marketplace. Caltex is currently undergoing a reorganization. For the latest on the Organizational Effectiveness Study, we hear from Steve Nichols.
I've asked for some time to share my thoughts with you on the Organizational Effectiveness Study that's been underway for a few weeks now. Some of you have asked why we're undertaking a study at this particular time. Quite simply, it comes down to two main factors: our operational performance and the global economic climate. Both have forced us to look at our business differently in every possible way. Both the refining business and the marketing business have been undergoing significant change. In refining, there's a worldwide capacity now that has an impact in many of our areas. On the marketing side, the deregulation in many of our countries and the changing retail environment with new competitors, new products, new service expectations are all combining to make the competitive pressures even greater. One thing that we know for sure is that our competitors are not standing still. Actually, midway through 1997, this was a topic for discussion at the highest levels of the corporation. Since then, you've seen the chairman's letter, and many of you have heard from him personally. As you know, as the year 1997 progressed, it continued to get worse as each month passed. Our conclusion was that we needed to undertake a thorough review of how we're structured to do business and how we can make the corporation more effective. So, how are we going about the review? First, we've put together a very competent internal Caltex team composed of diverse talent from all over the corporation: John McPhail, Dana Flanders, Casey Matthew, Jane Sheridan, Rich Colcroft, and Farouk Saeed. Next, we chose from 4 possible strategy consultant organizations, and in the end, we chose Booz Allen and Hamilton to assist us. They were able to bring the strongest team to the table. Our next task was to select a change management consulting firm to assist us. After considering several, we selected the Vanderveer Group out of Houston. Like Booz Allen and Hamilton, they brought a very strong team. We believe that people are the most important aspect of any organization study. The most elegant design isn't good enough. The way that people react to change is all important. And that's why we wanted this expertise up front. They're assisting us with the communication strategy and working with the project team members. You'll be hearing more about this later. Now, with all the team members in place, we've started together a vast amount of information regarding the organization. We've interviewed a number of the management team, and we've reviewed data of all kinds. We paid very close attention to the various initiatives and studies that have occurred over the past few years. In short, we're trying to get all the team members on the same page and to flush out the real issues. Okay, what kind of activities are we looking at? The 4 major categories are: 1, the overall structure; 2, what we've been referring to as the global core, and that involves those activities that are focused on global strategic work; 3, the role and function of the business units; and 4, the key management processes used to tie it all together. We're in the very early stages of concept formation based upon our collective intelligence. The process has been one of forming ideas based upon the information collected to date. We are now challenging each other on the team, and we're speaking with others in the organization who may have more information or more ideas or more suggestions. Some key dates to keep in mind are June the 12th. That's the date that our recommendations are going to the steering committee. And then on June the 16th, we take them to the board. Now, assuming that our recommendations are accepted, soon afterwards, we will begin to make the necessary changes. Some have asked, how long will it take? And the honest answer at this point is, we don't know. Of course, it depends upon the scope of the change. The more complex it is, the longer it will take. Our desire, however, is to make the implementation phase as short as possible. I know that most of you are wondering how changes will impact you. We're still in the early stages of the study, so we don't know what the new Caltex will look like. But I can tell you that we're very optimistic about the opportunity as well as the challenge to help make this great company even better. I can also tell you that the project team understands that capable people are the most important ingredient for becoming a successful company. Let me close by encouraging you to read and participate in all the information flowing from the study in the form of emails, letters, questions, and answers. We need to understand your concerns and consider your ideas. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you, and please let me or the project team know what's on your mind. In the meantime, we'll try to keep you advised as the project moves along. Thank you very much.
The Asian Games are less than 1 year away. To keep you informed on Caltex activities surrounding the Games, we will bring you an update in each episode of Caltex Video Magazine from now until the end of the year. So now here's a small taste of the excitement building up to the Asian Games 1998.
In December of 1997, coordinators from Caltex Asian companies met to discuss marketing programs for Caltex leading up to the Asian Games. The Games begin in Bangkok, Thailand on December 6, 1998. Bangkok, with its rich history and cultural identity, provides an ideal environment for the Games. This city embodies the traditions of the past, blending with the promise of the future. The 13th Annual Asian Games will feature 36 individual sports, with a total of 377 gold medals to be awarded. The Olympic-style competition will provide a platform for in-country leverage through various public relations and promotional activities for Caltex operating companies. By using the promotions now in place, OpCos will gain a competitive edge in the quest to make Caltex the brand of choice throughout Asia. In Bangkok and all across Asia, an excitement is building. Construction is underway at multiple sites, which will host the various events of the Games. These facilities will be state-of-the-art sports complexes, providing excellent accommodations for both athlete and spectator. Caltex is proud to be one of 9 official partners of the 1998 Asian Games. Please watch for further updates on the Games in upcoming editions of Caltex Video Magazine and The Edge.
As the new millennium approaches, companies all over the world are examining their computer systems in anticipation of what is known as the year 2000 bug. It is an interesting but potentially devastating situation, and one that Caltex is addressing head-on.
In February of this year, the year 2000 problem as it relates to Caltex was addressed at a conference in Dallas. The conference brought together year 2000 compliance officers of some of our companies with the intention of raising awareness and rolling out a common methodology for addressing this critical problem. The problem arises because of date-sensitive equipment and software.
When you get to the year 2000, you get 2 zeros, and then the poor old computer doesn't know whether it's the year 2000 or the year 1900. Now that's a very much an oversimplification, but that's where the original bug appeared. But unfortunately, what people have found now, there are many other dates which are causing problems. Another date is the 9th of the 9th, 99, and 01/01/99 is another date.
The conference provided an opportunity to evaluate those compliance programs already in place and to coordinate assessment of our progress in year 2000 compliance. Topics included the possible interruption of business, as well as the insurance and legal implications in not being adequately prepared. John Billingsley explains the need for documentation.
You have to document what you did, you have to write down what the results were, so that you can show other people that you did everything that a reasonable, prudent businessman would do.
You must look at it as a business risk issue, and if that is done, then it will help streamline the whole process, and at the end of the day we'll be in a much better position than we would be if we just look at it as a technology problem.
Communication between companies on the issue will save valuable resources. John McPhail explains.
We're going to have to do a lot of sharing, and so if we can set up some processes and procedures basically where we can do this cross-sharing, so that if somebody has looked at something and done it and resolved it, then we can share that. Somebody else may not have to repeat the effort.
A video highlighting the Year 2000 Compliance Program Conference is now available for review. Our objective is to ensure Caltex companies are taking every known precaution against loss of business related to the Year 2000 bug.
An agreement has been reached in Thailand which will integrate the operation of the Star Petroleum Refining Company with that of Shell International Holdings Rayong Refining Company. The deal benefits Caltex due to the plant's expected economies of scale and other efficiencies. The combined plant, located 90 miles south of Bangkok, will have a capacity of 300,000 barrels per day, making it one of the largest state-of-the-art refining complexes in Southeast Asia. It's official! Caltex Dallas Product Engineering Department received its ISO 9001 certification in this bell-ringing presentation in Houston, Texas. The certification is given by ABS Quality Evaluations Incorporated, a division of the American Bureau of Shipping. The ISO 9001 certifies that stringent international requirements are being met in the design of Caltex fuels and lubricants. The Caltex Technology Recognition Program, or CTRP, was held in November for 2.5 days of meetings, building Caltex brand recognition with Japanese equipment manufacturers. This 9th annual meeting brought together people from 28 GEMs and 17 operating companies, as well as participants from Chevron, Texaco, Nippon Oil Company, Caltex Lubricants Business Unit, Caltex International Technical Center, and Product Engineering. The CTRP is a great resource for information exchange and new business development for Caltex in Japan.
Our efforts have resulted in over 200,000 liters of oil products being sold to the Japanese equipment manufacturers across the Caltex system. Now we are beginning to see these same Japanese equipment manufacturers come to us and ask us to develop products. That is a new change, something that would not have happened without CTRP.
In February, Chairman David Law-Smith led a delegation of executives to Bangkok in a show of support for business in Thailand. The group was made up of 17 delegates from 14 U.S. corporations. The executives met with Thai leaders and pledged to work for more U.S. investment in Thailand. A handshake between Regional Vice President Jock McKenzie and John Van Pratt, General Director of Dinh Vu Development Joint Venture Company Limited, marks the deal in Vietnam to construct a lubricants manufacturing plant near Hanoi. The facility will be a joint venture between Caltex and the Additives and Petroleum Products Company. As Vietnam moves toward industrialization, the demand for high-quality lubricants has increased.
The joint venture will actually be not only a blending facility, but will provide us with additional laboratory capacity. And one of the important things that we're finding with many of the international customers is the need to sample the lubricants while in service.
Some important changes in CPC management have recently occurred. Joseph W. Burnett has joined CPC in the position of Vice President and member of the Management Committee. He will work closely with Tom Harrison of the International Marketing Center in Singapore as he becomes familiar with Caltex and our areas of operation. He began his career with Caltex in 1960 and then went on to work with Texaco and most recently served as Vice President of Marketing at Star Enterprise. Shark Yosufzai has joined CPC in the position of Vice President after a distinguished career with Texaco. He will assume the following regional responsibilities: Southern Africa, East Africa, and Egypt. In addition, CLBU, LPG, aviation, asphalt, trading, the year 2000 project, and information technology report to Mr. Yosufzai. Mr. Yosufzai will also serve on the Reorganization Steering Committee. In other changes, Richard Fernie will now have regional responsibilities in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore Marketing, Vietnam, Cambodia, Philippines, COTL, SPRC, and Shared Services. Jock McKenzie will also have new regional responsibilities. They are to include China, Japan, New Zealand, India, Dubai, Pakistan, Bahrain, and Sri Lanka. Vice Presidents Yosufzai, Fernie, and McKenzie all report directly to Guy Camerata. In addition, LG Caltex, Caltex Australia, Supply Chain Management, and the Technology Division will also report directly to Mr. Camerata. Caltex operations continue to expand in Greater China. To aid that growth, a new regional training center has opened with an outstanding environment for employee development.
Traditional Chinese ceremonies mark the opening of a fully equipped training facility in Dongguan. After the ribbon cutting and some celebratory fireworks, Kurt Douglas, chairman of Caltex Greater China, spoke on the importance of training the growing workforce in the region.
And we must ensure that they are equipped to tackle the challenges posed by a fast-changing business environment, new technologies, and higher customer expectations. That is why we, Caltex, are investing in this training center. It is vital to our future growth.
This facility, once a resort property, is undergoing a transformation to become one of Caltex's most comprehensive training centers.
Supporters ready? Supporters ready!
And this, by no means, is traditional classroom training. These employees are players in a program called Managing Team Dynamics, the first session held in the new facility. The program involves cutting-edge experiences that challenge each participant to depend on each other. In this exercise, team members test their problem-solving skills. Using only a few planks and ropes, they must work together to cross an imagined alligator swamp within a time limit. The three-day workshop involved many tasks requiring creative discussion and planning from the group. It also provided an opportunity for staff from many diverse backgrounds to interact with one another outside of the work environment. Caltex is committed to staff training and development. The Dongguan Training Center will help Caltex ensure that staff competencies are able to meet the challenge of rapid expansion in Greater China.
Caltex has a history of involvement in youth and their development. The following are a few examples.
Okay, run forward until you stop.
Rugby is about as foreign in Dallas, Texas, as cowboy hats are in the UK. But these kids are learning about Olympic-style team sports through a program called Field of Dreams. Their instructor is Stephen Jenkins. Caltex has helped make his dream of exposing the youth of Dallas to these sports a reality.
They've been a good supporter, and if they're being a big international company, it fits in very well with what we're trying to do here, which is provide international enrichment in the city of Dallas.
Also in Dallas, Chairman David Law Smith and his wife, Mrs. Delina Law Smith, recently visited Elijah M. Peace Elementary School. Caltex has adopted the school, located in a low-income section of the city. Peace Elementary has received several Excellence in Education Awards for academic improvements. During their visit, Mr. and Mrs. Law Smith encouraged the students and teachers to continue their outstanding performance. Across the globe, in Hong Kong, these youngsters are getting a taste of rugby activity. Caltex is supporting a new show promoting rugby skills to Chinese youth. In 1998, rugby will debut as a medal sport in the Asian Games, of which Caltex is a major sponsor.
We see it as a good opportunity to leverage off Caltex's sponsorship of the Asian Games and also for rugby in Hong Kong. We hope that this will be the beginning of a long and successful association with Caltex, promoting health, energy in action, and also young children getting out and getting active in sport.
Caltex is investing in the future by supporting these and other youth-focused programs throughout our areas of operation.
Now we are pleased to introduce a new segment, Financial Update. We will look to Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer Mac McCauley to give us a rundown on Caltex in the world market. In this first update, Mr. McCauley outlines the challenges and opportunities in our markets and provides an update on the state of the company. Now, here's Mac McCauley.
Thank you, Gloria. The most significant external event in recent times to impact Caltex operations was last year's Southeast Asia currency and financial crisis, which goes on even today. You may recall it started with the floating of the Thai baht in July 1997. The baht's immediate 16% devaluation set the stage for a subsequent banking and financial crisis. This crisis quickly spread and accelerated into Indonesia, Korea, the Philippines, and Malaysia. By year end, we had currency devaluations on the order of 35 to 50%, with similar reductions in the stock market indices in those countries. This event was critical to Caltex because these same countries at mid-year accounted for well over half our total corporate profits and were expected to contribute close to 70% for the year. Negative repercussions on our operations are expected to continue in 1998 and beyond as these economies struggle to deal with their changed circumstances. Against this background, let me first focus on the quality of our reported 1997 results, and secondly, on what the future may hold, including a number of projects we have underway already to improve our operations. With respect to last year's earnings, total reported profits were well above our business plan target. But this is quite misleading, as the underlying quality of these earnings deteriorated significantly in the second half. Included in final earnings were over $350 million of net foreign currency exchange gains, largely driven by the Southeast Asia currency devaluations. At mid-year, reported earnings, including and excluding foreign exchange gains, were well ahead of target. Thus, at mid-year, we were quite optimistic regarding our performance for the year. Despite depressed refining margins, we had good, solid marketing returns in most markets. Of course, the second half brought the currency devaluations mentioned earlier. At year-end, we remained well ahead of target, but these profits included the over $350 million in exchange gains. Excluding these gains and other non-recurring items left us almost 40% below our target. I would repeat, 40% below our business plan target for the year. This underperformance reflected the fact that in the last half of the year, as local currencies lost up to half their value versus the US dollar, our operating companies were unable to raise local prices to customers sufficient to cover the underlying dollar cost of those same products. Thus, dollar margins were negatively impacted, sharply lowering profits and causing liquidity strains. In most cases, dollar margins have not returned to pre-crisis levels, and thus profits and cash flow remain depressed. The improvement in the quality of our earnings will be a major challenge and objective as we move forward. But 1997 results also included a success story. This was the achievement of our targeted reduction in operating expense. You may recall that in late 1995, we set a corporate target for 1997 of a 50-cent per barrel reduction in operating expense from the base level 1994 of $3.56 a barrel. We ended the year at an average of $3.02 per barrel, a reduction of 54 cents per barrel. The result was achieved by both large and small cost reduction projects, as well as the individual daily efforts and discipline of our employees. Both management and all employees are to be congratulated on this achievement. While the currency markets and the market price of our products are not under our direct control, we can positively affect margins with improvements in cost and productivity. Looking forward, subsequent operating expense targets will be set by each operating company, benchmarking their competition. Thus, the target will be driven, as it should be, by our position versus our best competitors rather than some overall corporate target. A few comments about what the future may hold. In the Asia-Pacific region, we expect reduced GDP growth in 1998 and on into 1999. Oil demand is also expected to be down, reflecting the economic situation and the much higher cost of petroleum products to our customers. The potential for large refined product surpluses will keep refinery margins low and keep pressure on our marketing margins. It will be a real challenge to improve our core earnings and preserve our liquidity position. Major effort will be needed in the parts of our business that we control. Many of those efforts are underway, and I'd like to comment on 5 of significance. 1, we are moving towards a major refining alliance in Thailand between our Thai refinery, SPRC, and Shell's RRC refinery next door. Significant cost savings and synergies are expected as we move towards running these 2 large and efficient refineries as one. 2, in Singapore, all the participants of the Singapore Refining Company have agreed to operate the refinery for optimum overall profit and efficiency. This compares to past operations which were driven by the individual crude and product preferences of the participants, which collectively may not have optimized overall operations. 3, in Southeast Asia, the regionalization by 5 of our operating companies of their SAP applications into one computer center in Singapore and the creation of a shared services center in Manila is an exciting and major undertaking. The objective is to reduce overall costs in accounting, finance, human resources, and IT. This holds great promise for making these companies more competitive and providing the infrastructure for cost-saving extensions to other areas and companies in the Caltex group. 4, we are taking a global relook at our supply chain management practices and processes. Significant cost savings are projected in this area, where we spend presently in excess of $500 million annually. And lastly, as the chairman recently advised, we have underway a global review of our corporate center and the overall structure and organization of our company. In all these major projects, we are seeking a more sustainable, competitive position in an industry under rapid change. I would be remiss if I did not also comment that the immediate future holds not only challenge and change, but great opportunity. The face of our industry is changing as Caltex and its competitors attempt to achieve acceptable returns on the massive amounts of capital we all have invested. Alliances, infrastructure sharing ventures, mergers, and similar intercompany arrangements are now possible. Just a few years ago, we would have had difficulty finding interested participants. In addition, many weaker companies may be competitively forced out, and others will make selective exits from markets, thus making valuable assets available at what could be attractive price levels. An excellent example would be our recent purchase of BP's marketing assets in Thailand at what was a very attractive price. This purchase will provide improved long-term value to our Thai marketing operations. Many other efforts of a similar nature are being examined to help make us a stronger company in the future. We will try and cover some of these in future reports as they materialize.
That concludes our show for this time. Thanks for watching, and please keep your story ideas coming. We appreciate any and all input in making this your show. We leave you today with more images of Thailand, host country of the 1998 Asian Games.